Hello, welcome to episode 61 of Going 19, the Stephen King podcast. Today is part two of our discussion on Low Men in Yellow Coats, the first story from Hearts in Atlantis by Stephen King. I am Ed. With me are Allie and Amber. So let's start the show.
So how about what he's actually supposed to be doing that he's not doing?
Well, yeah, I guess we got to get to that. It's 12 o'clock.
These low men.
Yeah, why are they wearing yellow coats? So, for me, after I read this story, see, this was what was fascinating, and I didn't realize this the first time, but this time, like, he took a bunch of ordinary stuff that you like see every day, just about in your normal life, and made it into something mysterious and terrifying.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I definitely, walking my dog the other night, I saw a lost dog poster. And I was like,
see, I have a picture. I forgot to send it to you guys. We were in Giant, and there was a goddamn, like, on the Post-it board at, in the hallway, the pegboard, it was a lost dog, and it was fucking upside down. Like, no way. There's no way.
Oh, that's hilarious. We were talking about this last weekend, but like I definitely saw like some of the strangest lost pet signs after I read this the first time, and I'm like, how does he do this?
Yeah, you will never see a lost pet sign the same again. You're just gonna be like, where they at? I know they're around here somewhere.
And like, I'm not gonna lie, when I see like classic cars, I don't know if they've talked as much about the cars yet, but like that like gaudy vehicle, I'm like, oh god, where are they?
Yeah. Have you ever seen anybody in a yellow coat? I don't really. I picture like a Georgie trench coat when they say that.
Yeah, it's hard to picture that. I didn't remember that low was like a euphemism for dumb.
I thought it was more a euphemism for like shady and criminal element.
I
didn't realize that meant dumb necessarily.
Okay.
I'd have to find it because I remember specifically being like, oh, that's what that means.
The other book that he read. Oh, have you guys read Lord of the Flies?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was funny because I'm like, I guess it wasn't in the curriculum yet, but like everybody read it when I was in middle school.
I actually never had to read it for school.
Oh, well, maybe it was just my school.
I didn't read it for school. I read it for shits and giggles. We had to read 5 books every summer in my school, and I never made it.
No, this was one of the ones in our English class in 8th grade. I remember specifically.
Clearly, he's a big fan. But like I said, Bobby is Stephen King. I'm pretty sure because
I'm sorry. Real quick, you're right. Well, we're both right. Page 52. It says low men. Ted said, "I use low in the Dickensian sense, meaning fellows who look rather stupid and rather dangerous as well."
I think you saw Charles Dickens, Dickensian.
Yeah.
Like 1800s. I don't know what that means in the Dickensian sense.
Yeah, like I don't know what that means at all.
Yeah, so these
Dickensian characters running around back then.
I mean, I can picture like Sweeney Todd would be a Dickensian era.
Sherlock Holmes.
Well, I don't think he was killing anybody. I don't think he was a low man. At least I hope not. That'd be an interesting story, though.
I just mean I'm trying to picture the aesthetic.
Yeah, like do you remember the one lore we watched with the guys that were like grave robbers and they ran out of bodies, so they started killing people
Yeah.
And like the way they lived in like the basements in these little rooms and like the slums. That's what I'm picturing.
Anyway, sorry. I don't remember what we were talking about before.
What a low man is.
No, before that.
Nothing.
The cars.
Not like we're doing a podcast or anything. So, I mean, I don't know how much there is really to say. We're not really getting into the mysterious stuff yet. So Ted
Yeah.
basically says, if you see anything out of the ordinary, and I don't remember how he says it, but ordinary, I don't.
Basically, just like report back to me if you see like kite tails without the kite strapped around wires, or the stars and crescents around hopscotch grids, and
Yeah.
lost pet posters.
And people that don't belong or you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how Sully John's just. You guys should read the rest of that book because he's really funny in some of the other parts of that book. He's really awesome. He's so full of energy. He's like pow pow pow. He's just like a 12-year-old kid. I can just see it.
That scene where he does the thing and he's like, "Oh, he was the most hilarious." I'm like, that must be an 11-year-old boy thing because that's not funny.
What did he do?
I don't know. He did something like that. He like jumped up and he like pow.
Oh.
And then Bobby thinks like Sully John is the most hilarious kid I've ever met, and I'm like, what?
I would have to give up the gun soon, but not today. He's like, because a 12-year-old worries about still being a kid.
Yeah.
It's
also so I know we read the carnival part. I don't think we've gotten into the why after, but when Bobby just like knew where the card was.
Oh, the guy with the 3-card money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool too. He's just like, it's here.
He was very timid about that. So Ted clearly has some like powers going on here. I'm not sure exactly what they are.
Yeah.
But when Bobby touched him, he became like a super psychic for a little while.
I thought that's what I was trying to say earlier, and you said we don't know that yet.
Oh well, okay. I didn't realize.
When Ted looks at Bobby, he's thinking about other worlds, but also he's reading his mind, and he's like, "Yeah, you're right. There are other worlds."
Okay, I didn't realize what I thought you were going somewhere else. So.
No,
or I wasn't sure where you were going, so just be careful.
So yeah, Ted has powers of some sort.
Yeah. Well, and he can obviously like read minds too, which I think you said, but
he's doing that the whole time, and Bobby doesn't even realize it until like the last time. He's like, "Wait a minute, I was thinking that." Like Ted answers things. There's like 2 or 3 examples where Ted answers him, and Bobby never said it, and he doesn't realize that.
Well, I don't think I realized until the last part where you read it and like Bobby has a thought that Ted answers out loud, and he's like, "But I didn't actually say that. Like, did he just read my mind?"
Yeah, that's.
So I guess I'll have to go back and reread, because if he's done that before now, I kind of want to catch it.
He did.
It's very subtle. Like, I think it's very well written.
Yeah.
It's like works it in, like, past the salt, I can read your mind.
Right. It reminds me honestly of Aaron from The Witching Hour, and like how like he's just able to like charm people and they almost don't even realize that he's reading their mind.
Yeah.
Are you guys watching that?
I only watched what we watched.
Yeah, it's
what network is it on?
What?
Is Paramount?
Is it
AMC.
Oh, okay. I don't know AMC.
Was it streaming on? No.
AMC Plus.
No, I swear it's on something else.
It might be on Shudder. I'm not sure. I don't have Shudder. I don't. It's on my DVR, so I don't know where else it is. I know it's on AMC Plus. You can see it like the day before if you pay for that.
Yeah, I think it's on Paramount.
Okay.
I have Paramount. Wait,
I have Paramount, so I can check it out on that.
That might be a better way to go, because then I can get rid of the commercials. Or, well, Paramount's through Walmart Plus, so I don't pay for that either, but at least there's less commercials.
How does this say? This says it's on Disney. How is that possible?
It's not Disney. There's no way in fucking hell it's on Disney.
Yeah.
Unless Disney owns AMC.
Do they?
I don't know. They own everything else, right?
That's true. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Disney does have Deadpool on it now.
Well,
Deadpool's part of Marvel, so that
yeah.
I get that.
I'm not
Right.
concerned about like the crime. I just mean I didn't think AMC was Disney. Like, is
Anyway,
The Walking Dead on there?
That'd be hilarious.
Anyway.
where are the Walking Dead? I don't know. I don't. Kevin, what's that? I just want to watch the last episode. But then I was like, but they keep showing the commercials, and I don't know anybody in the commercials anymore, so I don't even care if they die.
I gave up a long time ago.
Yeah, like there's nobody. Well, I think Norton. What's his name? Daryl's still there, and I think Carol of all people is still there. I think I saw her. But
Great. My favorite.
I liked Carol. You know, like Carol.
I mean, I like Daryl, so.
I liked Carol. I think because of the Mist more than The Walking Dead. I was like, oh, it's Carol from the Mist. Or that wasn't Mrs. Damn it, what's her name? Mrs. Carmody is the bad one, and Carol's like the one that's with the guy that has the daughter, and I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You know, I'm talking about like in the shop when they were in the grocery store. It became like the God part and the non-God part, and they were fighting each other.
Was she on the non-God part?
Yes, she was with the protagonist guy. She
Yeah.
was helping him.
We
Yeah.
were recently, this is so random, but there was like a snowstorm coming recently, and I was at a Giant, and you know, they have the big glass like walls, and the way it looked outside was exactly like the Mist, and people inside were freaking out because like there was a storm. And it was just like, I was like, this is too real right now. I can't do this. Like,
See? Take that ordinary shit and you'll never look at it. Like every time I go to grocery store and I look at those windows, I'm like, what if there was like a big giant like bug thing with tentacles out there?
That's the creepiest part. Sorry, such a tangent, but of that story is that you don't even know what you're dealing with.
No. But you know, it's not good, and I don't trust glass for anything.
No.
That was way too much glass for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go lock myself in the freezer. So Bobby has the adult library card. He mentions how he's done with the Hardy Boys and Tom Swift. I grew up on the Hardy Boys. I read everything they ever.
I mean, I like that he mentioned Nancy Drew too, because I'm like, oh, I didn't know boys read Nancy Drew.
Yeah.
I read some, but you know, she was like the Hardy Boys' cousin or something. So yeah, obviously I was more into that than.
Right.
But they teamed up. They teamed up sometimes. And it was Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators. They used to read those. But it was the same thing. It was. I don't know why they called it Alfred Hitchcock because he wasn't really part of it. It was just like an Encyclopedia Brown. You guys.
Oh, I liked Encyclopedia Brown.
Yeah, I love the way he figured shit out. That fascinated me. Like, why didn't I see that? So enough of my childhood books. I was kind of sad. He was like, "Oh, the days of the Hardy Boys are behind him." I don't know who Tom Swift and Rick Brandt and Bomba the Jungle Boy are. But, I remember.
Well,
for me, is when I found Stephen King. Like that's when I left those books behind.
That's what I was gonna say. It's not that you're not interested in the stories any longer, but once you're at a certain reading level, like it's just really hard to go back.
Yeah.
Like, there are definitely things that I've read that I like. Why did I read that? But I love the story.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Once you go Stephen King, you don't go back. You want more and more and more and more.
And then everything else starts. You're like, wow, this reminds me of Stephen King because of this.
Right. Right now, I can't go near a grocery store window or a telephone pole. That's
I just met other authors. I'm like, how does this relate to Stephen King?
Well, most of the authors I read, except I would say Anne Rice, I found her on my own. But I know maybe Dean Koontz. Did he come from Stephen King? I know because of Stephen King. Like he's either written with them or talked about them or something. I'm like, okay, well, if he says it, then I'm going to check it out.
Except for Joe. Well, yes. I guess your disappointment was that it wasn't good.
Well, you know, I didn't realize he was just joking. Yeah, I had no idea who that guy was, and Stephen King was like, "Oh my God, it's the best book ever! It's so good, you got to read it." And I was like, "Okay, I can get with that. If he's recommended that highly, it's got to be pretty good." I was like, "Wait, just a goddamn minute." I know who Joseph Hillstrom King is.
But how
So
would you expect him to talk? Like, yeah, there's a new book. It's not anything near like mine, but you should
I
probably.
mean, I probably would have done this. Like, if you wrote a book, I'd probably do the same thing. Best book I ever read. Everybody did.
Yeah.
But he could have told me it was his kid, so I would know to temper my. So I never did read it. I have like 3 of them. I haven't read any of them.
Disclaimer: this is my child's book. But then that would totally ruin the endorsement.
See, but it's just so it's not a real endorsement.
Isn't that funny? How it's like normally you want your parents to endorse you, but in this case, it's like he's so much better than you.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, I mean,
I
didn't
like
really have.
Heart-shaped box a lot.
Which one?
Heart-shaped box.
To be
Read
fair, I've never read anything, so I'm only mimicking your opinion, Dad.
Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with him, and I'm assuming I think Joe's like my age, he's like 50-ish now. So, but I don't.
What does that have to do with anything?
My point was going to be I may have to start liking him because at some point his dad's going to die, and I won't have anything else to read. But he doesn't really write the kind of stuff his dad does. He does some graphic novels, like that's his thing. He likes to write graphic novels and turn them into Netflix shows.
Again, I wouldn't want to copy exactly what my dad does.
Yeah.
No, and he shouldn't. I don't even know that he should try writing anything.
Try a different profession.
Right.
I've enjoyed his stuff.
I'm
personally.
totally kidding.
No, I'm being facetious, obviously, but I have not read any of his stuff because I was so annoyed that he like tried to trick me. So,
Got it.
which is still funny to me. Like, what did you expect him to say?
I expected him to say, "This is the greatest book in the history of the world, and it's written by my kid. Good luck."
And then you would have went, "Oh, okay, I'm not reading it."
I would have given it a chance. I have to say, Lock and Key, I feel like I should really like, and I just don't. I keep trying to get into it, and I don't get into it. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but
I don't.
It's a graphic novel. Like they move into this house, their dad dies, classic Stephen King. And they find some secrets in the house. They basically find these keys, and each key does something. Like one key lets you travel anywhere in the world. One key lets you like see and read someone else's thoughts. So there's all these keys, and there's these bad people that want the keys. There's like ghosts and demons that are after them. So it is a good idea, but I just can't get into it. And I'm sitting there watching it going, do I hate this because of who it is? And I'm like, I don't think so. But at some point, I mean, fuck, what? My dad just turned 74, I think. So Stephen King will be 76 this year, I think. I think he's 2 years. He's 1947, I think. So at some point, it's going to run out, and I really dread that day. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't. Not that it makes it any better, but if there's one person who will leave a legacy behind, I think he has accomplished that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when the music does stop, hell, I could just go back to the beginning, and that would take me another 10 years to fucking read all that.
I mean, look how many times you've read The Tower, and it's still just as exciting, if not more. I don't know, every time.
I have, yes. Well, see, for me, I get so into them and I read them so fast. 10 minutes later, I forget what the hell happened. That's the problem with these. Like, I finished the hell are we reading? Low Men in Yellow Coats last Sunday, so I haven't really looked at it since then. So I have to like get back in that headspace. I'm like, oh yeah. And it was funny. I was actually reading Fairy Tale today at the gym, and I kept wanting to highlight stuff. And I was like, "Oh wait, no, I'm just reading this for me. I don't need to highlight." They're like, "Well, maybe I should in case we do it one day. It's already highlighted."
It definitely like leads you to that thinking where you're like, "Oh, well, we should talk about that," and you're like, "Wait, I don't talk about every book I read."
Oh, there's so much I wanted to talk to you guys about in that book too, because there's so many Easter eggs. It's just ridiculous. I think I told you that last week. Like There's the Dark Tower ones, and they're just all over the place. And like I should highlight them just so I can find them when I try to tell people about them. So Ted's telling Bobby his job. Mom agrees to it. I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too, but I guess she's not, like she does recognize some things. I don't know. I would just
Well,
feel like she wouldn't trust Ted at all, especially if she is being, taken advantage of herself.
she doesn't trust Ted, and she made a point, and Bobby made a point to show how much she doesn't trust Ted, and she does it anyway because she needs Ted. So she's the worst kind of person.
What's the point? I forgot.
I don't know. I forget. What were we talking about?
No. You said that she makes a point of showing that she doesn't trust him. How
You said she don't think she trusts him. How does she? Well, the way she talks to him, the cinching. What did she say? The shrinking thing she does with her mouth every time she sees him.
pursing of the lips.
It's very obvious that she doesn't like him.
Well, right. But that's why I'm saying, like, why would she trust him to be alone with her son and to like it's also, Bobby said this right away. He was like, it might be enough to fool me or to fool my mom, but it doesn't fool me. What's the real job? Like, it doesn't sound that, I don't know. I guess maybe if you're an old man and you just want to be read to.
Well, no, what he really wants is someone to look out.
I'm saying, I would think that she's smart enough to realize that's not what's going on here.
Yes, I agree. I'm not buying it. She was just like, okay, unless she. There's one way that works, and that is if she's totally distracted by the other shit that's about to happen, that's looming, because she's like getting. See, that's part of what I mean. Like, she's getting off the phone after like maybe arguing with her boss, and then laying down in bed and crying for the next hour. Like, okay, there's like
like her brain seems to be so like overfull with whatever is happening with her that she can't even spare another thought for like other than does he touch you?
Yeah. I don't know. Did people even think that way in the 60s? Like now that would be the first place you go.
But again, she would probably be more apt to think that way if
because of what may or may not be happening to her.
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, what the fuck is wrong with Ted? I have to say this carefully, that he's involving Bobby, because Amber, we know what he's involving Bobby in, but Allie doesn't necessarily know. So, but
you're
what
saying,
the fuck is wrong with him? Why is he getting a 12-year-old involved in these low men that are looking for him? Why he shouldn't? What is wrong with him? He's taking him down to the goddamn shitty part of town to make a bet on a fight, I think, even though he didn't actually say what he was doing, I don't think, but we know what he was doing. When they went to watch the movie, like, he stopped in the shady bar, and then leading up to that, he was very interested in a boxing match because I think he knows the outcome. That's what I'm talking about, the gambling. So he's going to get money from the low men, I guess you would say. Not the low men, but low men in the shady part of town. Not the ones that
you're saying, why is he doing that with Bobby?
I'm saying, what the hell's wrong with him that he's involving a 12-year-old in all this?
Yeah, I agree.
I guess he figures it might be the best way to watch out for him instead of like if he feels them getting closer instead of leaving him to his own devices.
I feel like leaving him at home is safer than bringing him in town, though.
Yeah.
And how do they find him? Like, I guess they're doing the same the thing that he's doing to try to like reach out to him or something. Like, wouldn't it be better if instead of having people out looking around saying, "Oh yeah, I saw something," wouldn't it be better if he just like holed up in the house and didn't go anywhere for a little while?
Well,
although it's middle of July, I think, and it's pretty fucking hot up there from what they said.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how they found him to begin with, because he did say that like he's been able to escape them before. I don't know if that's true or not, but like I don't clearly they've been following him. Like he's been moving around a little bit.
And he seems better at detecting them than anything Bobby could do. He just goes into his thing and he's like, they're close now. And he's like, oh, moving on. Oh, that
Right,
was a
but what
close
if
one.
that's how they find him too? So like you
Maybe they're putting him in the trance and he's not choosing it.
Well, my point is, what if like tapping into that psychic ability is how they're able to locate him in the first place? So the less that he does that, the better chances he has. So
That would make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, he doesn't, I don't think he controls it. It doesn't seem like he's doing it on purpose or when he wants to. It just,
Ted?
like, yeah.
Oh.
Like, what is making him go into those trances? Because I think the one time he was grabbing a fucking soda out of the fridge. Everybody in these books likes soda a lot too. It must have been a thing when he was a kid. And again, I guess it's my fault. Fairy tale. There's an old guy who won't talk to you until you get him a soda. So I think I know one of Stevie's voices. But
Well,
he was like getting a root beer or something out of the fridge, and he just stopped. Like the way I pictured it, he was still leaning over with like his hand out, and he just went into a trance, and his eyes rolled up, and he's like, "They're close now."
okay, well maybe they're doing it to him, then I don't know.
But I'm saying I don't know what's causing the trances. But the way he talks, it doesn't sound like it's coming from them. Maybe maybe they're casting a net, and that makes him go into a trance. I think it might be them, honestly. I don't know. Up to this point, we don't know what.
Well, I think the fact that you're right, the fact that he can't control it doesn't make me feel like it's really him. Like he would choose not to go into them if he could.
Yeah, or is it something that happens to him just by their proximity?
Yeah,
Like maybe
maybe.
not them doing it. Maybe it's just I don't know what happens when he gets too close to them. Which
Also, I know that this is our protagonist. They're both, the heroes of the story, but like, we don't know why they're chasing him. What if he did something wrong?
that's and that's what I was saying about Bobby's mom. Like, she doesn't know this guy. He's been there a couple weeks, and she's leaving her kid with him
Yeah.
because she needs him. So her morals and her indignity only extend as far as her wallet.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it was very convenient that none of his trances happened when she was there. Bobby
Yeah.
kept waiting for it to happen, and it never did. Like, what would she have done then if he went into one of them trances? Would she still have went? I think.
I would hope not, but you never know.
That's another situation though. Like, how much of a choice did she have? Like, could she have gone to her bosses and been like, "Hey, my babysitter like a weird, head problem. I can't go."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going insane. And they're like, "Wait, your babysitter's a guy? What the hell?"
How do you abuse him?
Right? How do you take advantage of a guy babysitter?
Just kidding.
I think this is where he figures it out. He's like, "She'll see we've been up to something." Bobby thought, "It's all over my face." And Ted says out loud, "No, it's not. That's her power over you. You believe it." He's like, "Whoa, did you just read my mind?"
Yeah.
Like, not for the first time. I hate to break that to you.
It is kind of, I mean, especially when you don't realize it at first, it's definitely like a violation. It's like someone's in your house and you don't know it.
Yeah. What? Oh, Bobby grabbed him or something when Ted was in his trance, right? That's what happened. So I'm gonna say that I think Ted is just oozing with fucking mind reading power. If touching him gives you that power, like, my God.
You might call it the touch.
Or the shine.
Yeah.
Oh, she's catching on. Shine and the touch, I believe, at this point are the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I think the touch is a low-grade version of the shine.
I
I
don't
think even
remember.
Elaine has a low-grade version of the touch, right?
Yeah, I can't remember what story he uses touch in.
Well, Elaine has the touch.
Elaine. Oh, you're right. Every time you say Elaine, I think E-L. And I'm like, who is she? um,
Elaine.
you're right. You're right. So is the
And Jake
shine?
has a, well, no, Elaine has a touch. Jake has a lower grade version of the touch than Elaine had. I think that's what he went.
So technically, the touch is in the Dark Tower. The shine is like obviously the Shining, but other places.
Yeah.
Yes,
But they're the same thing.
Shining became the touch because we know everything gets retrofitted.
Yeah.
So if you had the shine, you also had the touch. But
Right. I understand they're the same thing. I'm just trying to figure out where we heard them.
I think the shine, at least I don't. I guess I could look it up, but it seems to me the shine is a more powerful version of the touch. So if you have the shine, you are
But
stronger than if you have the touch.
I would say Ted has the shine, though. I mean, he's pretty damn powerful.
Ted's a goddamn supernova, honestly.
Yeah.
Because Bobby touched him and he got the shine for a little while. Too bad that goes away.
I don't think we've seen that really in a character yet that I can recall, where it's like they get like just little dredges of it from being touched.
Wonder why Rose the Hat. Do you know who that is?
Who?
Yeah.
I wonder.
From Dr. Sleep.
Wonder why she never went.
Oh yeah.
Ted. They could have ate for fucking years off of Ted. Shit.
Well, I meant in the stories that we've covered.
I don't know. I was just thinking that was her whole gig. She went after psychic people and like ate their psychic stuff.
You're saying Ted would be screwed? Yeah. Why don't they just send her after him?
Right. Like, yeah. Well, they're probably not working together. They don't seem to be Dark Tower villains.
Which is funny because like any villain should be a Dark Tower villain because they're the ultimate villain.
Especially considering when he wrote it, it was after Dark Tower. So.
Well, it's like otherwise, like, what's your goal? Like, that's cute, but how about we talk about the end of the world now?
Yeah, well, that's cute. You want to eat telekinesis off of people? Check this out.
Did you know that the universe is falling and crashing?
Crazy red guy in a tower. It's a little more important than this.
Right. Who's stuck there apparently?
His mom was increasingly preoccupied, jumping each time the telephone rang and running to it. Increasingly
preoccupied is a funny like adjective.
I can almost picture that. There's just those two words kind of like she's getting more jittery, she's getting up and pacing more often, she's probably smoking more cigarettes, and I can picture.
Well, I never thought of there being levels of being preoccupied. It's like you are or you aren't.
Right,
but I agree.
There definitely are levels now that I've read about that. Yeah, he just throws those phrases in there sometimes. Like, you know what? That's really cool. But I want to get a wall and just write down that stuff sometimes. Increasingly preoccupied. It was another one, a blue chambray work shirt.
Another one?
That was in Fairy Tale. There was one in here. What did it say? My note, I called it a SK-ism.
Oh yeah.
A good book doesn't give away all of its secrets at once. He said that earlier in Hearts of Atlantis because they're talking about Lord of the Flies. So I was like, yep, heard that before. Said he's doing that now. Like every 5 pages. And that was the thing. Oh, I meant to say that Sully, when they were in the park or Bobby met him in the park or something, and he was like, man, he's like, I saw them 2 weird guys over there. I was like, I don't know who they are. Screw it. Moving on. And then he's like, if Sully had told them they were wearing yellow coats, maybe Bobby would have took more notice. But he didn't. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like not only are Bobby supposed to be looking out for them, but like we as the reader are in on it too. So it's like, oh no, Bobby.
Right. Like I was like, oh my God, you better ask him who the hell they are. Like I said, he doesn't do the one thing he's supposed to actually be doing. Well, he does half of it. He looks, but he doesn't report. But then again, he's 12, so Ted shouldn't be relying on him to do anything.
I mean, that's fair. Like, I guess we did say that earlier. Like, doesn't Ted have more power than him anyway?
And if Ted's so powerful that touching him made Bobby psychic, yeah, why can't Ted just like blow their minds apart when they get near him or something?
Right.
Like, I don't think Ted should be running from anybody. He could be like fucking world emperor if he wanted to or something. 'Cause
It
nobody
does
would.
beg the question, why?
Yeah, why is he running, and who are the low men? Clearly, they're not the top of the chain, so who are they working for?
Yeah, we can't talk about it, but I also just put that thought together. I'm like, that's who you sent to do this job?
Yeah, like the drunks and the gamblers,
Like,
you
this
know,
is
the
a
reliable ones.
Ted is pretty damn important. Like, you would think they would send, like, maybe RF or whatever, MB. I can't
Right.
remember.
But yeah, I mean, we can't really say why it's so damn important. So let's just say that Ted is important, and I don't feel like whoever is sending people after him made it enough of a priority, because there's no way they should have been able to fucking get anywhere near him.
Yeah.
The way I picture it, if they're in the same zip code, he can like see it, and couldn't he like hide him? Like, they're circling looking for him. I don't know, but I get the impression they know he's around, at least. Like, they know they're close. So can't he like hide himself from them in a mind projection kind of way? Can he like turn off the switch so they can't like detect him?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That, well, I guess we'll have to revisit this after we finish the story, because like Ted would have. Never mind. I can't say. He would have been fine. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes. That's for the next episode.
Right.
I was gonna say we've gone well into the depth of over my head at this point.
Yeah, sorry. I try not to do that, but sometimes it gets stuck. There's one trance. He says, "All things serve the beam." Yes. Bobby's like, "Serve what? Nothing. Don't worry about that."
God, you don't know how true that is.
That stupid beam. He's like, "Okay, what's the beam?" He's like, "Whoa, I spoke of the beam." He's like, "Yeah, you said all things serve the beam. I think that was it." He's like, "Perhaps sometime I'll tell you, but not today." I don't think you're gonna be telling him.
I do feel like that would really throw him off, though. Where he's like, "What's this about the beam?" He's like, "What? What do you mean beam? How did you hear that?"
Right? Who was talking about beam? What beam? Probably he would look up in the sky, right? Wouldn't that be
Right.
like, where's the beam? Is it up there? And perhaps you saw only shadows. So at the end of 6, where are we at? I think Mom's still gone, right? Or did Mom come back yet?
I don't think she's.
Mom is still gone. End of 6 is they're right about to go inside the pocket.
Oh, they haven't done the thing yet. Okay. So they're in Low Town, but they've seen the Village of the Damned, and yeah, he spent like 5 pages talking about Village of the Damned. I think he really likes that movie.
Is that Children of the Dam?
Shit, was it?
Yes.
Is that the same movie? Or is that 2 different movies? I think that's.
I don't
Maybe
know.
maybe the remake is Village of the Damned.
Well, I know in the book it said Children of the Damned.
That's an Iron Maiden song.
I was like, why is that so familiar? I couldn't figure that
out. Maybe the remake is Village of the, because I think they both have I know the John Carpenter one in the 80s has the like the terrifying blonde kids. So, and they were mentioned several times so I guess the remake he just changed the name for whatever reason. Stupid directors do that. Like they're doing to my witching hour. Getting a little off topic for that series. But
What?
see. They're not following the script. At first they were like,
oh, you're talking about the witching hour.
Yeah, that was almost word for word, but now they're doing some, and I don't like Lasher. I don't like that guy.
And you don't like the actor?
Yeah, I don't like the look.
Yeah.
I don't like the way they have him represented.
I agree. He looks greasy and gross. Not suave.
Yeah, like a used car salesman. And he doesn't have he just has like a suit on. It's not like a fancy old timey.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're supposed to look like an English gentleman, not like you said, a used car salesman.
Yeah, yeah, he looks slick. But anyway, Puddintain, ask me again, and I'll tell you the same. That is in every other book. I think that's a requirement. I think Jake or Eddie or both may have said that several times.
Oh, you were right. I'm sorry. It's Village of the Damned. Why did I think maybe it was the Iron Maiden?
Well, the children are definitely the damned ones in the village, or they're the only ones left.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, that's why. Because so the movie is Village of the Damned, but then they're talking about
The book is Children of the Damned.
everyone. I don't know. How do I not understand that? It just says, although the movie never said, Bobby figured and this is capital, children of the damned, uncapital, must have been caused by some sort of outer space phenomenon.
Maybe he was just referring to the children, but the name of the movie was Village.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Every time, yeah, it's weird. Every time he talks about children of the damned, it's capitalized.
I don't even care.
Anyway.
Yeah, and when they're at the carnival, it doesn't, like, he wasn't even watching the guy because he didn't need to. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, most of the time, they think that you're trying to like watch where their hands going, and that never works. So he was like, I don't need to. I knew where it was because he knew where it was. So, like, he could see what the guy was thinking. So it's like, go ahead, do your whole theatrical thing. It's that one.
Yeah. Are you done?
Yeah. The only chance you got is to not think about where it is, and good luck with that. But I feel like he should have like took that guy to the fucking cleaners. He was way too nice with that guy. Because he was totally ripping them off. Because when the money came in, he was like, "Yep, sorry about your luck." And then he didn't want to get. Then he didn't want to pay out the first time he lost. It took him a minute. And then I think Bobby just won the money back they spent. And he was like, "Now get out of here. I don't want to see you anymore." So that guy was clearly shady. But
yeah, but remember, his mom, his whole life has been. Yeah, well, actually, I don't know if. I think he never saw a straight six. He didn't. Well, Bobby didn't even know what that meant though. So I don't know if he knows about gambling.
Inside straight, he didn't like. Yeah, I think you made that up. I think that was part of his motivation. He did it because she would say not to do it. I think he has that conversation with himself or something.
Yeah. But I guess my point is that, like, I would understand why his first encounter, his inclination wouldn't be like, take this guy to the cleaners.
Yeah. Well,
If I was him, I
also
would've.
he's 12. Like,
Yeah.
not a lot of
Yeah.
girls.
Still timid about the world.
Why don't you just grow up already?
Yeah. Nice. What are you, Claudia, going to be 12 forever?
Go through what Jake's been through, and then you'll be okay.
Right. Jake is not your ordinary 12-year-old.
So random, but I'm like, I miss Jake.
I miss Eddie. I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I feel like I haven't talked to Eddie in a while. Because even Wizard and Glass is mostly not Eddie.
Yeah.
Or any of them. Why is the town square clock bonging early? Does that mean something?
Oh yeah, that was another. I forgot about that. That's a sign of the low men.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
He said it would be early or not ring enough times, stuff like that.
Oh, that's concerning.
Well, how does Ted not notice that too? I don't understand.
That's what I was thinking. The bonging of the clock's pretty loud. Is Ted deaf as well? I like how, do you think mental problems are funny? He's like, gee, no, I feel bad for people with loose screws. I don't think you should probably say that way to them, at least.
There was another, this is so not even the point, but there was a part at the very beginning where they're talking about like someone being fat again. And it's like, I want to be like her. And then the guy goes, but she's fat. And the girl's like, yeah, but like in a cool way, not in a fat way. And it's like, oh, come on.
Right, just stop. Just don't. You have no idea. A Kai Mai shows up. I'm not sure.
Kamai, what does that mean?
Eddie goes 6. I'm going to. He's talking about the fight. If Eddie goes 6, I'm going to send my boy to bed without his supper. Irving Kamai.
I don't know.
Like, apparently it means fool. I've never seen that before. I don't remember that one. Kamai, which is low speech or high speech or one of the speech, means a fool apparently.
Oh.
Yeah, I made a note right there. He was asking Bobby about the fight between Hurricane Haywood and Eddie Albini. I was like, yep, there you go, betting again. It's gonna get in trouble. They always bet and it always ends badly. That's all. I don't know if this one does, in theory, but so far every other one has.
Wait, what ends badly?
When they bet to get money.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess. I don't really remember it.
Jake missed his whole reason for being there because he got his ass beat within an inch of his life because he was.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Right. Well,
Yeah,
it's not like his other course of action to earn money didn't really do much for him either. So, like, what are you supposed to do?
being a school teacher,
Yeah.
especially in the 60s. Yeah, Bobby noticed the puffiness of her eyelids. Why is she crying all the time?
I mean,
I guess it's whatever she's getting into. She really doesn't want to do, but she feels like she has to. I guess is the answer there, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. In my head, it's very whatever she's into is really bad. And it's so horrible. And yeah, you're right. I almost feel bad, but I think she's financially motivated, so I don't feel too bad. But I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've talked about her enough.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
Well, I'm at the part near the end now where they keep talking about how she's like crying all the time. So
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't think it's like she's just like, you know, I don't know how to explain what I'm thinking, but I very much get the sense that, things are escalating quickly out of her control. She doesn't know how to handle it. She doesn't know how to handle anything. Like, she's spiraling.
Okay, yeah, she's on her own. She's not good at doing the adult stuff. Maybe, yeah. That could be
It's
it.
not an excuse, and like, again, I feel so bad for Bobby, but I don't think it's just her. Oh, that's the other thing I was gonna say is, like, I know that there are many people in situations like that where it's not that black and dry. It's not just quit then, like, you know what I mean? Otherwise, they wouldn't be in that situation, or that's victim blaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. People say that, but it's not easy to just drop everything and start over either. And then you got to run and hope you don't get. Yeah. Anyway, I like how when the guy gets puts his mom in the car, Bobby goes all Lord of the Flies and he's like, "Kill the pig, cut his throat." Like, yeah, that would be cool.
Ooh, I also really liked what the commentary on that, where it was like, so you have the guys who come and rescue the kids, but then it was like, who rescues the rescue crew? And Bobby was like, I don't get it. They don't need to be rescued. They're adults.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Piggy and them." Yeah, yeah. I think that was a happy ending, right? I mean, ostensibly, I guess. Is
Could
it
have been a
implied
lot
in the book,
worse.
like the kids, I don't think it was implied in the book when they get rescued that they kill like everybody on the boat or anything, but that's kind of sounds like that's what Ted's saying.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't remember exactly, but I didn't get the sense that like everybody was dead, obviously, or they wouldn't have been rescued.
Yeah, I think it ended when the boat showed up and they were all full on fucking tribal.
Right. Like, the point was just about what can happen. I guess not exactly what you'll.
The prim and proper Englishmen, given their baser instincts, or
It's the whole promise of primal.
the
We're back to
promise of
that.
primal. Wow, it's an interesting way to say it.
Well, no, Primal is a show.
Oh, premise. I thought you said promise of primal. I'm like, oh.
No.
Oh, see, I like what I heard way better than what you said.
Promise of Primal. Actually, yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, let the beast out every full moon. Okay, so they go down. They're about to go down. He spends a lot of time talking about movies that I don't really care And they go into the, I don't know what the bar's called, but that's where 6 ends. So I feel like, oh, the pocket, that's what it's called. Shit's about to hit the fan. It's kind of been a slow burn up to this point. We're just living with Bobby and doing what he does and reading books. And he's really good at that. Like, kind of nothing happening, but he's good at filling the pages with nothing happening while you're like getting to the point where something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's all that. I mean, that's what we love about Stephen King. It's all that character
Yeah.
development in the story.
Even we were talking about the Mist. Like, it's not about the monsters. They're like the background. It's about the people fighting each other. Like, that's Stephen King. Sure, there's monsters, but the people are quite often the monsters.
That's what The Stand is about too. It's like, yeah, there's other stuff going on, but so much of it is them fighting each other.
Well, The Stand's a little different because you don't know how much of that is Flag's influence or if they're just bad people.
Well, that's fair, I guess.
Like Nadine, you know, she's like the worst person in the world, but would she be that way without Flag on her all the time?
Right. What's Harold's excuse?
Well, Harold's a monster. Harold had an opportunity. He had several.
Okay, sorry.
Fixated on his high school girlfriend or
Crush, not
high school.
girlfriend.
Yeah, his middle school crush even. Okay, I think we're good. We'll see what happens to the sad story of Bobby and his mom and their upstairs neighbor. Shouldn't say sad. I meant sad because of his mom. I didn't mean
Yeah, I was like, all right, spoilers.
it's not. I guess I don't know. It's like Lord of the Flies. I don't know whether to say it's a happy ending or not. Well, it's not a happy ending, but I don't know if it's necessarily sad. Anyway, let's do that next time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, no, I was going to say most Stephen King doesn't really have a happy ending.
Yeah.
That's why I got into him. I think, what did I say? The first book I read, I think, was Salem's Lot, and that was definitely not a happy ending.
No.
Pretty sure the whole town's dead at this point.
Or undead.
Right, not alive, as it were. Alive that was. Okay, 2 weeks for the rest of Hearts in Atlantis.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah, and then let's do the Sisters after that. So if you don't have it or you need me to, I mean, well, before we write that, we'll talk about that next time. But let me see how long it is and see what I think of it. But we should just might even be able to throw it in as part of another episode. I don't know how long the book is. But it's just rolling by himself in that one, and it's kind of cool the way it makes sense, Amber, as a prelude to Father Callahan.
Okay. I totally forgot he was coming back too.
Yeah, I felt like that was kind of a spoiler, but I don't think it is.
Nah.
So it's half the reason I read down a lot.
Right. We already talked about that, yeah.
So, what's today? 12th, so what's that, 26th?
Yep.
Yeah.
5th, I'm not around. I think 26th I am. So, okay. End of the podcast. See you February. Try that again. Because sometimes I take the end of the podcast and just isolate that for when I split the episodes. Then it sounds the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have to isolate that. So February 26th. Same bat channel, same bat time. End of the podcast. I don't want to say episodes when I do that because it gets weird.
Okay.
End of the podcast. See you in 2 weeks. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.